Now let's go back to Matthew 24. I'm not going to take time to read through them all, but there are a lot of preachers and teachers who outline the 6 classic signs that Jesus mentions in the early part of Matthew 24 and assume that those are all indicators of the second coming. And what they teach is that you can check those off, and as those things happen, if you can check them all off, it means Jesus is about to come. The moment has arrived. But I think those things are meant to remind us of the crazy place that the world is going to be until the time that Jesus returns. Look at verse 5 of Matthew 24, where Jesus says, "Many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am the Messiah.' They will deceive many, and you will hear wars and threats of wars. But don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end will not follow immediately. Nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. But all this is only the first of birth pains, with more to come." So Jesus is saying, look, these bad things are going to happen. They are not a signal that the end has come. They are a signal that the world is broken, and that will continue until I do return. Notice, wars and rumors of war must occur, Jesus said. Jesus is not saying that these things mean that the end is near. He's saying the opposite. He's saying that we should expect these things routinely. And if you talk to your parents, you talk to your grandparents, if you hear what their parents and their grandparents said, then they will describe all of these things being a part of life and a part of the world. Now, we live in a time when we get information from the other side of the world instantly. So the optical illusion may be that these things are happening more and more and more. But the reality might be that we're just more aware of them than we've ever been. Jesus never says these signs will occur at the very end to confirm that it is the end. No, he says until the end, these things will continually, cyclically occur. They are not signs, and they are not a signal that the end has come. So Jesus is saying, don't obsess. Don't chase after these false prophets who are saying, oh, I've got a message for you. The end has come. Watch my YouTube channel. Come listen to me speak at my conference. You got to be hearing this. No, Jesus said when the end comes, there will be trumpets, there will be angels, and it will be obvious. And he says, don't panic as all of these other difficult, disturbing things happen. Turbulent times are baked into the cake in a fallen world that is in rebellion against God. So, is there a verse in the Bible that says that Russia invading Ukraine is a sign that the end has come? Not that I have found. But there is a verse that teaches that this kind of chaos will occur over and over until Jesus does return and history comes to an end and a new heaven and earth are established. Now, we should not give in to this. We should not become indifferent to these things. We should not become calloused and fail to care for people who are impacted by these things. Jesus doesn't say that. But these things are expected by God. And Jesus says that you and I, as followers of Jesus and believers in his words, should expect them too, because they're going to continue. Jesus says in Matthew 24, verse 8, all this is only the first of birth pains, with more to come. What is he saying? It's going to keep happening. Don't think every time it happens that the end of the world is at hand. Now, everything Jesus outlines in Matthew 24 is meant to teach us not to run around and claim the end is near when a bad thing happens. In other words, these are signs of the times, but not signs of the end of time. And what's the antidote for these things? Well, we are carriers of the antidote. We are the ones who are telling people about Jesus, and he is the antidote. The return of Jesus and the reign of Jesus is what will fix all of these problems. It's not a better politician. It's not a different politician. Now look, noble and wise human leaders can make a positive difference for a while. The Bible says when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And Christ followers who live to love can also offer refreshment to people who live in this broken world. The tide of evil is going to roll in. It may recede for a while, but like a tsunami, Jesus is teaching that it will return with even greater force. Now, friend, if all of this sounds like pessimism to you, you are missing the point of what Jesus is saying. Jesus is teaching that evil will march on, it will press in, but that it will not upend his kingdom. It will not keep him from accomplishing his will. Trouble may rule the day, but it won't rule eternity. And when things get truly tough, when life gets really hard, when you are betrayed by someone, when you are mistreated for your faith, and Jesus says those things are going to happen to his followers, don't lose heart. Because Jesus has anticipated all of those things, and God will ultimately make it right, and you will ultimately be vindicated for trusting in him.